Hello and welcome to Conscious Conversations with One Breath Institute with your hosts, Lisa McNett and Debbie Sherman. Tune in for mind-blowing conversations on how to be more conscious and present in your life.
Topics we cover include healing, spirituality, introspective breathwork, astrology, dreams, alternate states of consciousness, and so much more. Hear from us and our interesting guests. Make sure to follow and subscribe to easily find us and listen again.
Well, hello and welcome to Conscious Conversations with One Breath Institute. I am Lisa McNett, the founder of OBI and the host of today's show. And with me is Dr. Heidi Kharbhih. I don't know how to spell it. I didn't ask you how to pronounce your last name. Will you say it for us? I got it right? Okay. Dr. Heidi Kharbhih. Perfect. Okay. Well, let me read to you a little bit about Heidi's bio. Dr. Heidi Kharbhih's specialism is human behavior and bringing the unseen into light. Heidi leverages over 30 years of pattern recognition to unveil behaviors that can manifest as huge life challenges or possible awesome futures. With her signature Dream Catchers program, she guides women to find unshakable inner peace and purpose. Heidi has appeared on Channel 4, Arlberg TV, My Planet First. That's exciting. Her work has been published in the Financial Times, Business Reporter, and numerous academic journals, and she has co-authored multiple books. Heidi enjoys sharing her research at international conferences and hosting retreats, having recently invested in a retreat center in Denmark opening soon. Okay. So many amazing things, so many amazing accomplishments, being in academic journals, co-authoring books, sharing research at international conferences, hosting retreats. It's really amazing to have you here and to have you as part of our One Breath Institute community. Heidi has chosen to be part of our community. She's becoming an introspective breathwork practitioner with us as well, to add that to her list of many healing modalities. Thank you for being here, Heidi.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. It's really good to be here. I think when I first heard your story about your out-of-body experience in the cave, I was like, I really like this podcast. So it's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's where, the intention of the podcast is to have conscious conversations about, the things that aren't always talked about, the unique and surreal experiences, of which I know you have had quite a few of yourself.
Yes, I have a few stories.
Yeah, I know you do. I know there's one about a Buddhist monk you want to tell us about.
Yeah,
we'll move into that. But you also mentioned Satori moments and your journey of awaking to spirituality. Having experiences of the divine and how these experiences have changed your sense of yourself. And so I'm curious if you could share a little bit about what that means. What is the Satori experience?
Yeah, well, I can explain what it means to me.
Great, perfect.
Yeah, so for me, a Satori experience is a moment where I experience what you may call the divine. I'm not religious, but I am spiritual. So source energy, whatever you might want to call it, where instead of being little Heidi in my human body, I'm this great expansion of consciousness and part of, universal consciousness, like everything in every thought, every element is a part of me and I'm a part of it. So it's this expansion of the self in a way.
Yeah, I'm thinking of this just connection to oneness.
Hmm.
just the connection
Exactly.
to oneness where you become immersed in everything and you
Mm.
are everything.
Yeah, exactly. Like one moment, one tiny moment that happened to me that did have quite a profound impact. That you can't tell everyone because they'll think you're a bit weird. But I was just putting my girls to bed. They were quite young at the time, and they were jumping around, like not wanting to go to bed. They're full of life. It's that witching hour in the evening, and I was really tired because they were young, 2 under 2, just like oh, and
Right.
I'm thinking, okay, I need to get some energy here to try and put them to bed. And I was watching them thinking, I have no energy, can't do it. And then suddenly I felt this hand on my shoulder. And I was home alone. Well, I was with the girls, but there was no one else in the house. Um, but it felt like someone put the arm around me and were next to me and put the hand on my shoulder and kind of said, I'm with you. It's okay. And this hand, as it touched me, obviously there's nothing physical there, but I feel it. I feel it like a hand, right?
Yeah.
Feel it on my body. And as it touches me, I am washed with love. And it's this this power of love just fills me like, and it gives me all this energy and this love and this light and this admiration for life. And all I can see is two gorgeous little girls jumping up and down and oh great, they're mine and aren't I lucky. And I just totally changed my perspective on what I was looking at and how I felt inside. And then I, put them on my back and jumped around and put them to bed, and it was all great. And I came back in the lounge afterwards, and I just said to the space, like, "Thank you," because it felt so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's such a beautiful story and such a beautiful moment of,
Mm,
you know, two two kids under 2, just that energy, that feeling of um I just get such a sensation from from what that feels like and being exhausted yourself
mm,
and in that moment of exhaustion, feeling alone, feeling like I can't do this,
mm,
and how that translates to the girls too,
mhm,
to your children as well and then receiving that support, just receiving that support, receiving that support,
mm,
feeling it physically on your body and
mhm,
feeling yourself
mm,
flooded with this love and the support and this energy and
mm,
just
yeah,
shifting to now your experiences, you have the energy, you're excited that you have these girls, you recognize the value and the beauty and the connection that you wanna have with them, and the
mhm,
energy is there, and, this just highlights something that is such a real thing, um, when we use I found that when I'm using my own energy, like, there's a limit. There's
mm,
a limit to the
yes,
amount of energy that I have, right?
yeah,
But when I open up and
mhm,
I allow myself to be supported
yes,
energetically
yes,
by what is there to support me, whatever we wanna call that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. If we're just a vessel and we let that energy flow through us, it's unlimited, isn't it? It's just, wow, yeah. And
Yeah,
the love as well is unlimited, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, so thank you for sharing that story.
you're welcome.
Yeah, so was that did you already have an experience or a practice at that point that you would say made it maybe easier for you to connect to that, or was that just kind of a random thing that happened?
It was a bit random, but I would say my mum's quite psychic. She would foresee things before they happened and was quite connected. Um, and I have also had lots of experiences as a child and through growing up where I've seen ghosts or I've had a dream and then it came true. So I'd say I've always been connected, actually. Yeah. But it did dull for a while. I'd say between my 20s and 30s. I was quite disconnected and I didn't have any of these experiences. So then when I came back into myself, then the intuition and the psychic abilities came back with that connection.
When I came back into myself.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Do we wanna touch that at all?
Maybe another time.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
just, it's interesting. We won't go into it, but I'm hearing that, and in my personal experience as well, you know, we can lose connection when we just really dissociate or disconnect, or, just end up in a path where we're just disconnecting. We're
Mhm.
just disconnecting. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So coming back to yourself, opening up to having more
Mhm.
experiences, um, and having these different times where you've seen things, where you've
Mhm.
heard things, where you've received support.
Mhm.
Um, would you say that? Hmm. Yeah. So, would you say that? This word Satori, I believe, is a Buddhist word. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay. You have some experience. You have lots of experiences and lots of different trainings. Would you share a little bit about your experience with
Mm.
some of the training that you've done that might have pointed you in the direction of opening up to your gifts?
Yes, I would say the what you would call exponential deepening of my practices happened when I started seriously meditating. I always meditated as a child, but I didn't know it was meditation. So I would sit and watch the rain, and I would be totally lost and completely mindful by looking at the rain, and I would have no thoughts, and I would forget where I was, and I would just be in the rain, and that's a form of meditation. Or I would sit and I would chant a mantra, and I'd say the same words over and over and over again to stop any negative thoughts in my head. And so I kind of always did meditation, but didn't call it meditation, and it wasn't a practice. It was just a natural way of being. But as an adult, I discovered like a formal form of meditation, and I did some transcendental meditation training in India, where my father's from, where my half my family are from. And when I did this transcendental meditation, the chap that was teaching me was like, "You have to do this twice a day, 20 minutes twice a day minimum." I said, "Well, can I do like 40 minutes one day and then 20 minutes and he's like, "No, twice a day, 20 minutes minimum." I'm like, "Okay." And so I started doing it like by the book, at least 20 minutes twice a day. And some days I would do 2 hours because I enjoyed it so much, and I would get these synchronicities in life because I was meditating and I was more present with me. And like I said, coming back into me, in my body, and into this life that I've chosen, that I suddenly found that life was supporting me rather than me pushing against it. It's like
Hmm.
there was a shift in the way I lived my life and the way that I perceived things happening around me. I felt like they were supporting me and helping me and on my side, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
um, Rather than pushing and fighting and trying and like my life had been before that. So when I was doing this meditation, I went into it quite deeply, and I can share a moment I had, if you like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll ask you that in just a
Yeah.
second, but I just want to highlight that piece, because a few things about what you said, Heidi,
Mm,
because a lot of people are seeking meditation and think that they can't do it, or think it's like, the idea or the concept of meditation is I'm supposed to just sit here in
mm,
one place and my mind just goes quiet. And your mind can come to a quiet place, but that's not the starting point.
mm,
Um, that's not the starting point to getting there. And also, just that being immersed in a thing, like being immersed in the rain
mm.
and
Yeah.
coming to a place where you're just connected with the rain. And
Mm.
those moments are meditations.
They are, and they're so precious. And I think everybody does it. Everyone's sat and looked at the waves at the beach, and they've watched a stream, or they've I don't know, been mesmerized by the light shining through the trees. I mean, we've all had these moments, usually in nature, I would say. Certainly for me, I think Mother Nature and the plethora of flora and fauna we have is just mesmerizing, and I could watch it all day. But I think we've all had experiences and not thought of it as meditation, but actually it is.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and I would have to agree, I tend to agree with you. It is, I mean, well, we are, yeah, a side note, don't go there. Um, yeah, when we're immersed in nature, and we're in the awe and the inspiration and that connection, then yes, we do go immersed. We can also just get, in society, kind of, it's not necessarily a meditation, but we can end up entranced. We can end up
Hmm.
entranced,
Yeah.
by things like TV, and that's what I was gonna say. But,
Mm,
like,
right.
it's like we it's becoming entranced. It's becoming lost in that experience, and so becoming connected with nature and immersed in nature is a way, that is you, that is me. We are
Mm,
part of nature. We're not It's not an unnatural thing, and so it unlocks something within us.
mm. Yeah, I think there's some healthy ways to be entranced and some unhealthy ways to be entranced.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. That was my thought. How long were you in India?
Oh, I go quite frequently, but a couple of months at a time, or a month, or yeah.
Okay.
I'm going again at Christmas. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. And you have family there. Do you connect with your family when you go there?
Yes, of course. Yes, yes. I have lots of family, hundreds of cousins.
Okay. Where in India? Where in India?
Well, my brother lives in Shillong, which is northeast India. It's the capital of Meghalaya. So if you think of India as a bee, it's in the top right, kind of in between Bangladesh and Sikkim. So it's in the Himalayas, and it's gorgeous. And it's a bit higher up, so it's not so hot like Delhi. It's quite lush and green, lots of tea plantations and fresh mountain streams. It's quite beautiful. It looks quite similar, strangely, to Austria.
Okay.
The Alps in Austria and Meghalaya look very similar to me. They have pine trees. It has beautiful uh, streams, and yeah, it's pretty.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. There is something, India holds just a different vibration. It's just a very different vibration, and having the opportunity to go there and to
Mm,
be in that energy, in that space, in the vibration, I
mm,
feel like, can be transformational in itself. So amazing.
mm. Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
you had this meditation teacher, and
Mhm.
and it is very true, have being, somebody who has spent time studying in India myself, is very by the book, very traditional. This is the way that you do it, and there can be so much value in that. There can be
Mhm.
a lot of value in supporting, the discipline that comes with a practice, and also the understanding of why you do it this way.
Yes, exactly. And if he hadn't pushed me to stick to the practice, then I don't think I would have opened as many gifts as I have. And I think it's different for everybody. So I think we all have supernatural gifts within us, and some more prevalent than others, depending on the lives that we've had, the experience that we've had, the things that we're open to. But it's just phenomenal, I think, the amount of untapped potential we humans have that we're yet to discover. Like, we're discovering it, we're on the edges of it now, of it becoming people becoming aware of it and realizing there's more. But it's so new. We're in this quite new time. I say new, I mean, some people have known it for thousands of years, but it's becoming more commonplace now, so that everyday person can tap into the unknown
Yeah.
and make it normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that we seek to do, is to normalize these gifts, these natural talents that we have.
Mm.
And one thing that you said earlier that just brings it right back, because we do all have gifts. We do
Mm.
have all of these, it's natural for us to have psychic capacities. And how at home are we to be using those?
Yeah,
Because we really need to be here and be embodied and be connected
yeah,
to be able to fully realize and access the gifts that we have.
exactly. I'd say most people probably have an experience where they made a decision based on their head or what was on paper, even though their heart said something different. And then it turned out not to be what they wanted. And they're like, I knew it. Why didn't I trust my gut? That is your intuition. That's the thing that we need to listen to. Yeah.
Such simple and profound advice, everyone. Take heed when you know that the direction is one way, but you're talking yourself into being another way. Don't go down that road, or you might regret it later.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's
Yeah.
what I love about Obi, actually, because connecting with the breath does bring you back. So you can hear those messages and you can hear that little whisper from your heart saying, no, no, don't do it. Or the one that says, yeah, yeah, go for it, go for it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The breath is right there for us at any moment to
Mhm.
help us slow down, check in, listen, and then choose which direction to go on the path.
Exactly.
So you were going to share a moment with us.
Oh, yes. I love this moment. I can tell you this.
Okay, great.
Okay, so picture this. It's a beautiful summer day. I'm in Austria and I'm sat on my bed and I'm getting ready for a meditation. So I'm sat on a nice little fluffy white pillow, windows open, sun streaming in. You know, when you close your eyes and you can see the red of the sun on your eyelids, and I'm just really happy in this moment and just really looking forward to doing another meditation. No expectations, just relaxing. And I can smell the lavender coming through the window, and I can hear the hum of the bees, and there's a river at the bottom of the garden. I can hear the water. So I'm just enjoying all of this. And I'm in this moment. And then, all my meditations are different. Nothing is ever the same. And I never know what to expect or not. But there's something common in all of them, in that there's this sense of peace and calm that just comes in. And so I have this sense of peace and calm. And then I kind of go deeper. So I can't hear the bees anymore. I can't smell the lavender. I can't hear the river. I don't even see the sun on my eyelids. I've just gone in and gone within. And I get this urge to speak. And I never speak. I'm always, I rarely listen to music when I do it. It's normally just quiet, silent. I listen to nature, but I get this urge to speak. And I think, this is weird. So I'm conscious enough to know that I'm wanting to speak. So I just start speaking. Yeah. And when I say, okay, I need to speak, kind of like start like this. And then I just let the words come out. And it's my voice and my words, and it's all in my language, it's not like I'm speaking tongues or anything. But when I'm speaking, I'm also seeing, and I get this very strong sense that I'm in a temple. So I'm Heidi sat on my bed in my bedroom, like with the window open, but I'm also sat in this temple. So I'm looking and I see this temple, like eyes closed, but looking inside, right? And I can hear some, chanting and so that I'm saying out loud, I'm in a temple. I see some pillars. And then I notice when I move my arm and I go, oh, I'm wearing robes, and I can describe the robes, the gold and the red of the robes. Like, oh, I have man's hands. And I'm really like, whoa. And I'm looking at my hands, yeah, and seeing
Yeah,
these man's hands. And then I'm meditating in the temple as well. And
sure.
I'm surrounded by all these other monks also meditating. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And I'm dictating everything that I see, like, to myself out loud.
Yeah.
Um, and what happens is I'm doing this meditation, and I realize I've kind of got my hands a little bit open, kind of like and I'm holding this energetic ball of, well, energy and light, and it's swirling around, and I'm holding this ball of energy, and it's like I'm concentrating on it, and all the monks are concentrating on it as well, and we're gathering pain and suffering from across the world, and we're pulling it in to this ball of energy, and it's like a healing meditation, and we're holding this ball of energy, and it's growing and it's growing, and it's swirling, and as we're connected, as the monks are all connected and we're all meditating, it's increasing, and we're gathering this, what I can only describe as pain and suffering from humanity across the world. And we're doing this, and I'm still Heidi sat on my bed, but I'm also this monk. I'm literally living this life, and in this temple, I feel like I'm physically there doing this meditation.
Yeah.
And we lift up this energy, all of us, and we lift up this ball, and I lift it up, and I lift it up, and I give it. And as I lift it up, it kind of gets bigger and bigger and lighter. Yeah, it gets bigger and lighter and more translucent, and it becomes this massive ball that I'm holding up. And then I let it go, and it goes up into love, and it goes and like dissipates into love. And then we've kind of released that pain and suffering. And it was just, I can't really describe it. It was such a releasing, beautiful moment that my words can't describe it in any way, shape or form. But it was like so powerful. And then we come down, and I'm just thinking, wow, that was amazing. And then I come back, and I come back to, start smelling the lavender, and I start hearing the hum of the bees, and I'm coming back to my bed, and I'm like, see the light in my eyes, and I'm just like, whoa, that's awesome. And I was in two places at once. Like, I
Yeah.
was two
Yeah.
beings, it was just
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get such a sense of how powerful this was for you while
Mm.
you're speaking. You really took me on the journey. I was hearing the bees, I was smelling the lavender, and then, yeah, you're having these this is what I call them, dual experiences,
Mm.
of being Heidi on the bed and of being the monk and doing this amazing, powerful healing
Mm.
work, and what beautiful work that is, and I believe in the power of collective, I'll use the word prayer, but
Mm. Mm.
collective prayer, collective intention, collective meditation, collective heal,
Mm.
fill in whatever word.
Mm.
It sounds like, I mean, of course I believe that there are positive, high frequency beings like monks and nuns, and not any number of just regular lay persons who create this environment, and so you were a part of that,
Mm.
and really, yeah, energetically supporting the healing, planetary healing and consciousness, and just pulling into this energetic ball the pain and suffering of the world. And
Mm.
in this moment on your bed, you're also pulling in pain and suffering from the world and into this energetic ball.
Mm.
And so, in these two timelines, in these two spaces at
Mm.
once that have converged into a singular moment, that intention and that healing is just multiplied.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 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 It's phenomenal, actually. And I was really excited about it, and I had a friend that lived next door said, "Can I try it on you?" So it's like, sure.
And so what happened?
And then I tried it on her and took her through the meditation, and she said it was really profound for her as well, that she was able to release this past her and emotions that she wasn't consciously aware of, but felt the the lightning after she'd released them, and she was
Okay.
allowed to bring in this love afterwards. She said it was great. So yeah,
Yeah.
she uses it regularly now as a morning practice. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, and I love that it's like love, it's love. You're using the word love, like the
Mhm.
love is taking it.
Mm,
I think that the word I mean, probably a lot of our listeners have a good idea of what the word love means,
mm,
but I'm just gonna speak to it. The word love is oftentimes misconstrued.
mhm.
And just that love, pure love can be the healer of all.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah. You're right. Love can mean many things, but the love I'm talking about, um, it's actually about connection. It's about acceptance. It's about being totally seen and still accepted and loved and perfect, and there's this, I don't know how to describe it, but it's kind of misconstrued as romantic love. Um, but I think all romantic love is looking for connection with another person and wanting that deep heart to heart connection. Whereas the
Yeah.
love of the universe is connection to all things, connection to yourself, connection to every living thing.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. Hmm. Taking a breath with that,
mm.
and without conditions, right? Without conditions.
Oh, totally. Yeah, no conditions.
Without
Yeah.
conditions. Yeah. So, yeah, here's just an interesting thought or an interesting question or reflection, however you want to respond to this. Um, there's the concept of past lives,
Mhm,
and and with those being on kind of a linear experience.
mhm,
Whereas I might have been this 1,000 years ago, or I might have had this
mm,
life 500 years ago, or I might and having these memories to these different experiences.
mhm.
And then there's also a concept of parallel dimensions where they're really all happening at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah, so it seems
Yeah.
like something sparked for you. So what would you like to say, yeah, what about that?
I used to use the terminology past lives because when I was young, it felt like that. Um, I know I've been a black slave. I know I've been a nun running an orphanage. I've been a herb healer in the woods, kind of early kind of 18th century. I know of other lives that I've had, but I don't call them past lives anymore. I think time is a human construct that's convenient to help us understand the world that we live in. But I don't think time really exists.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a funny kind of thing. I was introduced to a concept, a year and a half ago that really rang true for me and feels so powerful. And that's the concept of, like, my future self, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, yeah,
my future self
yeah,
is giving me the opportunity to change things in my present moment awareness for a greater potential or meeting my potentiality, right?
yeah.
And that's cleaning up the past pieces or the side pieces,
Mm,
and so
mm,
I really love that.
mm.
I
Yeah,
really love that.
yeah. Because your future self is present in your present self, as is your past self, if you want to call them that. But they're all present. Like, they're all
Yeah.
here right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and so when we go places, I mean, you were very much describing this parallel experience,
Mhm,
which is something that I can relate to having had before, is a
mhm,
parallel experience,
mhm.
and something that probably everyone can relate to is, where do you go in your dreams? Like,
Mm.
what's happening in
Mhm.
your dreams?
Yeah.
You're literally checked out, like, you're literally not using this body.
Mm.
So where are you? And
Exactly.
what's happening?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had this, I don't know if it was a crisis, but a few years ago, I was like, what am I? Who am I? What does that mean? And I was like, well, I know I'm not my body because if I cut off my arm, I'm no less of me. So my body doesn't define who I am. I know I'm not my thoughts because as my thoughts change, I'm still there. And I'm watching my thoughts. So who's watching them? So my thoughts are not me. I know I'm not my life or this particular life because I know I've experienced other lives. So I'm pretty sure that when Heidi dies, I will live on, you know,
Yeah.
not in this physical form, of course. Um, but my consciousness has been there for longer than Heidi has, and it will continue to be there when Heidi's gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
And what so there's two different things that are coming up for me right now, and one of those things is what dictates where we go after.
Mm.
That's always an interesting thing that I like to bring in for persons to reflect on because in a lot of different traditions, it is, there's a concept of this is the construct that you're going to next. So to bring in Christianity, there's like a heaven or a hell, right?
Mm. Mm.
To bring in, there's a Tibetan Book of the Dead that has this whole it's an entire book, in
Mm.
preparation for the afterlife, for where you're going when you die.
Mm.
According to Krishna consciousness, in the Hare Krishna community, you need to be focused on Krishna at the time of your death so that
Mm.
you go to be with Krishna at the time of your
Mm.
so I've studied these there's a lot of different things and a lot of different, religious and spiritual philosophies.
Mm.
And so my question is, how do I want to know that I want to go hang out with Krishna? Or how do I really know that I wanna go to heaven? Or how
Mm.
do I really know that I wanna end up with all these Tibetans? Like,
Mm. Mm.
because how do I know that if I'm focused there, that I'm not gonna go there, right? Like, why does this make sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so just food for thought, everybody. Like,
Mm.
if what I believe to be true in my life now,
Mm.
like if I believe what I'm true in my life now is going to become my reality in this embodied consciousness, then how do I know that that's not going to carry over into my disembodied
Yeah.
consciousness?
I have a feeling when we first pass over that our beliefs before we pass will inform what we first meet, um, to help us adjust to transitioning from this world to the other world. But I don't believe any of those beliefs actually are whole and right because our brains can't fathom what's to come.
No. No, we
You know what
really
I'm like.
can't. We really can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 and I
Mm.
think that's true. I think it's about, like, the transition, the
Mm.
hallway,
Mm.
the room,
Yeah,
the
yeah, I like the
building
hallway, yeah.
that we go to and who's gonna be there in that
Mm.
hallway with us, and I
Mm.
think that that's,
Mm.
from my belief, that's a big part of why, when persons die abruptly
Mm.
or when persons are in very mentally troubled states of mind when they pass over, that there is the idea of ghosts, right? That
Yeah.
are, negatively
Of being stuck.
connected
Yeah.
to, yeah, this kind of
Mm.
stuck or stagnant
Mm.
energy. So I'll come back
Mm.
and I'll say I do feel like
Mm.
having maybe we don't have to have an idea of who's going to be waiting in the hallway for us,
Mm.
but feeling more settled in our soul or in
Mm.
our self.
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
support
Mm.
an easier dropping of the body.
I had a what you call a near death experience. Um, when I was strangled once, believe it
Wow.
or not,
Yeah, I
and
believe it.
I had no breath left, and I passed out. And whilst I was being strangled, um, I came out of my body and I watched the scene as if I was at the ceiling looking down. Like in a movie, the camera zooms out and has a look at the situation. And I could see this guy strangling me, and I could see me having no breath left and passing out and slumping to the floor. And I could see his face looking horrified at what he'd done because he realized, kind of snapped out of his anger moment and realized what he'd done. And I could see me dead on the floor. Right? And I kind of zoomed back into my body, and it felt incredibly painful to come back into my body. And then I took a breath, and I was on the floor, and I was, back in this body. And the feeling I had when I was up there watching, I wasn't afraid. I wasn't. It wasn't painful. It wasn't uh, any of the horrible things you might imagine. It wasn't scary or any of those things. It was calm and peaceful, like a meditation. It was observational. So I was watching it, but I didn't feel the same as I would feel as a human. I wasn't feeling compassion. I wasn't feeling judgment. I wasn't feeling angry. Um, I was just watching it as it is. Oh, this is how it is. And I wasn't afraid at all. And I felt quite beautiful, actually. It felt very calm and beautiful and peaceful. And yeah, I'm not afraid of dying for that reason, because I kind of experienced it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. I'm not afraid of dying for different reasons.
Mm.
But
Mm.
thank you for bringing in all of those pieces. I mean, yeah, all of these feelings that we have are human constructs. They're human constructs. They're connected to these human bodies.
Mm.
And, that is something that I've heard before numerous times about these, kind of near death experiences is out of the body, looking down, calm, peacefulness. And, it's such a vulnerable story, Heidi. Thank you for sharing that with us. Um, yeah, I got a real sense of being up here and just looking down, and I'm in a calm and peaceful place, and that's just what
Mm.
happened. And then coming back in to the body, how painful that had to be, especially because there's no pain here. And then coming
Mm.
back in, and there's all of the physical and the emotional pain connected to your experience. And for you to make the choice to come back in
Mm.
to that painful experience just speaks to how much you're meant to be here.
Well, yeah, I know that. That's the strange thing is I wasn't finished yet. I'm like, no, this isn't it. I've got more to do. Like, I'm not done.
Yeah,
Let me get back in there and carry on. Kind of.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, you knew that.
yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
You
Oh,
have
I've
a
had so many near-death experiences. It's incredible. So if you're ever not sure about something, just stand right next to me and you'll be fine.
Oh, no. Oh, well, Heidi, speaking of your mission here on Earth, your earthbound mission, would you share a little bit about what your work looks like or is going to look like?
Mm.
Because you have your current container, and then you're working on the retreat center. So anything you want to share with about your work for whomever might be attracted to finding you.
Yeah. I'd say actually the soul calling for me is to help raise consciousness. on the planet. And I think there's different ways that you can do that. But for me, I want to help people at an individual level. So I work with women because I believe we need more strong women in the world. And they need to have their voice and find their power and be a strong feminine presence, because that's what the planet needs. It needs balance. We've been out of balance for a bit too long. So I work with women to help them find that inner peace and sense of purpose in their life. And I use my experience in life, but I also use all of the trainings and things that I've done that helped heal me and help me work with other women. So yeah.
Okay, beautiful. And is there a piece of advice or a wisdom or a message that you would like to share?
Let me breathe on that. Hang on. Yeah. You can do anything. You can be anything. You already are it. So go catch those dreams.
You can do anything, you can be anything, you already are it, so go catch those dreams. Wonderful. Okay, well, we are going to put your link for your website and any other links below
Thank you.
this and all the places. And would you like to just speak it to everyone so that they know how to find
Yes.
it?
It's drheidikharbhih.com. So you won't be able to spell my name. It's got lots of H's in it.
So the links will be below. Yeah, the links will be below. Perfect. Wonderful. Well, we didn't really get into your retreat center. I would love for you to come back and talk, but I'm also excited and looking forward to you creating a space. You are creating a space where you can host the types of connections and healing that you are called to.
Exactly. A beautiful energy and healing sanctuary. So I'm looking forward to that opening too.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Heidi. And thank you, everyone who has been with us today. And let's take a breath. Okay. And we'll see you so soon.
If you're hearing this message, you've listened to this episode all the way to the end. And for that, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
We want to hear from you. Reach out and let us know what you thought of this podcast. And please like, subscribe, and share this episode with your friends.